Welcome to Modern Nerdom.
Nerds?
Nerds.
Nerds! What is a nerd?
With Rocky.
Rocky, do you believe that America is the land of opportunity?
Wish me luck, I'm gonna need it.
Oh, hey, I don't believe it! Hey, the champ is down!
And the Brain.
The brain.
You're every bit the detective that your followers on the internet believe.
Gee, Brain, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
Live from Modern Nerdom Studios, it's Rocky and the Brain.
Welcome to our third show. With me, as always, is my co-host, Rocky.
Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky, thanks for being here. And the whole idea behind this third episode, we're going to be covering Jurassic Park in 3D. It just came out in theaters over the past week on April 5th. And it actually has been doing very well in the theaters, and we'll be covering a major review about that because Rocky and Brain did go to the movies this week to check out that film.
Yeah, but I saw it in just regular high-definition 3D. Brain got to see it in IMAX and regular.
That's right. I saw it in the IMAX 3D. Huge screen, which made the Tyrannosaurus Rex look even bigger. First up is our Nerd News.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
It's time for Nerd News with the Brain.
And in movie news, the Elysium trailer came out this week. This is the second film from director Neil Blomkamp. You might remember his first film, District 9, which was released in 2009. Rocky, do you remember this one?
I do remember seeing District 9. I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was one of those unknown science fiction films of the year, and it turned out to be extremely well. The story was very good, and a bunch of no-name actors that did very well. This is another similar kind of film, but he obviously has more money to play with this time, and it's going to be starring Matt Damon and Jodie Foster.
How do you like them apples?
Good Will Hunting. Love that movie, too. Yeah, but definitely the trailer looks extremely, very much in the same style as District 9, but you can definitely tell they have a lot more to play with this time. Right. The second movie news that came out this week is Christopher Nolan's next movie after Dark Knight Rises will be called Interstellar. It's going to depict a heroic interstellar voyage to the furthest reaches of our scientific understanding. It's going to come out in November of next year in 2014, and actually Deadline's reporting that Anne Hathaway will star opposite the recently confirmed Matthew McConaughey. So that makes for an interesting duo, different than what we're normally seeing with Christopher Nolan with Christian Bale, Michael Caine. You know, it's going to be a little different, so we'll see how well Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway do working with Christopher Nolan.
We will see.
Yes, sir. The last bit of news, extremely funny movie that I am very much excited about coming out this summer called This Is the End.
You know, in the last show, after the show, you told me to check out the trailer. You sent me the link.
Yep.
And it was funny as hell. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, and what's crazy, it's like basically stars every comedian and major young actor in Hollywood today.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember in the trailer the scene where Rihanna, Michael Cera just slaps Rihanna on the ass, and then later on she just like punches him.
Yeah. And I think Yahoo did a story about that.
Yeah.
They tried to make it sound like it looked, like it actually happened, but it was kind of like a...
exactly.
Yeah.
And it actually follows 6 of those actors, young actors, in James Franco's house, and all these strange catastrophic events are going on around the city of Los Angeles. So I definitely suggest check out the trailer if you haven't.
The highlight of the trailer was Emma Watson cussing, like saying "fucking," because I never heard her cuss before, and when I saw that, I was like, "Ooh yeah."
That was crazy because they're yelling out in the scene, Hermione's coming to steal our stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you see Hermione or Emma Watson coming in with an axe, going at the door. It's crazy.
Yeah, she says something like, "Give me your fucking food," or "Give me your everything you fucking got."
Give me all your fucking food and water, or something like that. It was hilarious. Yeah. And these are some of the actors that are going to be in it: Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, James Franco, Craig Robinson, Danny McBride, and Jonah Hill, just to name a few.
All right. I love Danny McBride.
Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, Eastbound and Down, bitch.
And we look forward to that one.
Oh, yeah, I do. And, Brandon, I hope you don't mind me interrupting here a little bit, but I do have some gaming news.
Absolutely, Rock.
You know, in our last episode, we discussed the console wars, and I really didn't have any information about the Xbox 720. But courtesy of our friends Digital Trends, which website I love going on there every single day and checking out their news. We now know that Microsoft Xbox 720 will be pricing at $500 up front, or you could pay $300 with an annual subscription cost. So basically, it's going to be the same system. They won't, one system won't be like X amount of gigabytes, and the other system will be like less or whatever. Basically, each system will cost $500, but if you want to pay a lower upfront cost, you can go with the $300 package and pay an annual subscription on the side. But to tell you the truth, you'll actually be paying more if you go the $300 route. So, just wanted to give you a heads up about that. So start mowing your lawn, start saving up, buy less beer, or whatever you have to do. And second bit of news, which is my favorite, for the second year in a row, EA was voted worst company in America by consumers' Worst Company in America award.
Congratulations, EA.
Yes. And actually, with a 78% of the vote, they destroyed the nearest competitor, Bank of America. So if you're worse than a bank, then that's pretty bad. But, you know, actually, EA did ruin a lot of good franchises. And I think a lot of people are really pissed off, with that, and then with also, when you buy a new game, you have to get on the EA server in order to play it and all that bullshit. They're starting to ruin their reputation. And actually, after that was released, Peter Moore wrote a letter saying, you know what, we made some mistakes, but, he's still damn proud of the company, which is, that's all I got to say.
Well, now that we know how Rocky feels, why don't we move on to the last bit of news? In comics, just one bit of really cool information new from last week. Star Trek Countdown into Darkness is setting up very nicely how the film is going to look in mid-May, Star Trek Into Darkness. Actually, this issue 3 that came out this week, is very interesting because we get our first look at J.J. Abrams' version of the Klingons. It looks like they have these weird body armor. We were looking at it earlier today, Rock. Huh? It looked kind of weird, huh?
It looked kind of Roman, like a Roman warrior helmet.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting, but we could tell from the armor, though, that they still had their signature kind of the way the bumps are on their cranium, the way it kind of pushes together their bone structure on the top of their head. Yeah. So we definitely see that that's going to stick in place from the original reality that we know from Star Trek. But if you've seen the trailer for Into Darkness in the theaters lately, which we both did before Jurassic Park 3D, you'll see a very much Star Wars-esque version of Star Trek. They even have like a Millennium Falcon-esque ship going through a very small enclosed place. So you can definitely see J.J. Abrams' mind is already on Star Wars.
Oh, yes, I agree. And I hope that the new Star Trek will definitely be as good, if not even better, than its predecessor.
We can only hope, Rock.
Absolutely.
There it is. Welcome to Jurassic Park. We've made living biological attractions so astounding that they'll capture the imagination of the entire planet.
The most phenomenal discovery of our time.
How'd you do this?
Becomes the greatest adventure of all time.
Can I touch it?
Sure.
Universal Pictures presents.
You feel that?
Hold on to your butts.
A Steven Spielberg film.
Fences are failing all over the park. Yeah, that's nice. Gotta go.
An adventure.
Look out! No!
I can't get Jurassic Park back online.
65 million years in the making. Jurassic Park.
Wow, wasn't that a great intro, huh, Rock?
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, we have a little fun over here splicing some audio around and really trying to capture the essence of Jurassic Park, our fun that we had both when we were young and we got to have just a few days ago. So it's been 20 long years. Can you believe it's been 20 years, Rock, since Jurassic Park came out in the theaters?
No, it just seems like maybe 5 years ago it came out.
Exactly. It still amazes me. I remember going to see it like it was yesterday. In 1993, I went with my mother, my father, and my sister. My sister and I were about the same age as Lex and Tim, and we definitely could relate to the characters. And actually, when we got home, it was pitch black in there, and I jumped behind my sister and put my 3 fingers on her shoulder like a velociraptor claw, and she jumped about 10 feet in the air. I kid you not. I mean, this is one of the great memories you have when you go to the theater and you have that 1 or 2 movies that really hit home with you and really help capture the imagination, you know, and change your life. Yeah. And that's what Jurassic Park did for me when I was a kid.
Yeah, like after I watched Jurassic Park, I really got into, you know, dinosaurs after that. And, I got back into dinosaurs. And I went to a planetarium, and I was at the gift shop, and I saw a plaster of Paris velociraptor claw like he had in the movie.
Yeah.
And I knew what it was, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy that. So I bought it, and I felt so Dr. Grant-ish. Yeah, I bought it, and I felt so Dr. Grant-ish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, maybe dinosaurs have more in common with present-day birds than they do with reptiles. Look at the pubic bone, turned backward, just like a bird. Look at the vertebrae, full of air sacs and hollows, just like a bird. And even the word raptor means bird of prey.
That doesn't look very scary. More like a 6-foot turkey.
A turkey, huh?
Oh, no.
Okay. Try to imagine yourself in the Cretaceous period. You get your first look at this 6-foot turkey as you enter a clearing. He moves like a bird, lightly bobbing his head. And you keep still because you think that maybe his visual acuity is based on movement, like T-Rex, and he'll lose you if you don't move. But no, not Velociraptor. You stare at him, and he just stares right back. And that's when the attack comes, not from the front, but from the side. From the other 2 raptors, you didn't even know were there. Because Velociraptor's a pack hunter, you see. He uses coordinated attack patterns, and he is out in force today. And he slashes at you with this 6-inch retractable claw, like a razor, on the middle toe. He doesn't bother to bite your jugular like a lion, say. No. He slashes at you here, or here. Or maybe across the belly, spilling your intestines. The point is, you are alive when they start to eat you. So, try to show a little respect.
So, yeah, definitely. I love that scene. It's funny to relive it again. And I remember the kid walking up, and this is in the beginning when Dr. Grant's trying to figure out, and how do I handle kids, and later on foreshadowing the events of having to save the lives of little Lex and Tim, and basically having to come to his fears of dealing with the little people, the little children, if you will, little versions of us, the younger versions of us. And he definitely had an issue with that early on in the film, but he had to face his fear. And it's funny, the kids had the fear of dealing with monster dinosaurs, not him. His fear was dealing with the kids.
Yeah, exactly. But quick,
I'll never forget that, the Velociraptor claw. I love that you brought that up. That was one of my favorite images. I remember after I saw that movie, I'm like, oh man, I want one of those.
And he slashes you with this. Hey, but quick trivia. That kid that he scares, he was the same. He was the same kid in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child. He was.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, apparently you can have a career after playing a child actor in a major film.
In a horrible Nightmare on Elm Street film.
So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a nostalgic feel being back in the theater, and the extra element of being in 3D was just amazing. But we'll go more in depth about that later on, about the 3D choice and how it worked with the film. But first, I want to kind of go over a little bit of a history of Jurassic Park, kind of where it's come from, and what they've done with Jurassic Park over the years leading to today's 3D release.
Thank you, Brain. Well, first off, it all started in 1993.
That's right, Rocky. I remember it well. That's when the first film came out. It had just a measly budget of $63 million as compared to today. Back then, that was a lot of money. But to today, including this past weekend's box office numbers, from Box Office Mojo, they list that it has made over $923 million worldwide.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of bread right there.
Absolutely. That could pay for a lot in the future if you had, the coupon day.
Yeah. But it's not just for the rich, remember.
It's not for the insanely rich, that's right. So we all know that this was based on Michael Crichton's book, Jurassic Park. But what many people don't know is that book was only written and published in 1990, and they were already starting to script the movie in 91, 92. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. They had the idea in mind right when the book came out. There wasn't like a long delay between the book release and the work on the film.
I never read the book, but I heard, always like the book isn't like the movie or whatever. The movie isn't like the book.
That's a shame, Rocky. It actually is a great book, and you'll definitely have to borrow from me one time. But there are some slight differences between, as you just said, between a lot of books and movies. In this case, one of the biggest changes was the fact that John Hammond dies in the book at the end, as opposed to in the film where he survives and you see him kind of on his deathbed in the second film.
Okay. Don't tell us how he dies. But,
I won't tell you. You'll have to read the book.
Yeah. It's available for $5.99 on Amazon.com.
Thanks for checking on that, Rock.
Okay.
So basically, one of the biggest things about Jurassic Park, the first film, was Industrial Light and Magic's work they did with the special effects. It was groundbreaking. It was basically ILM had started with the Pixar computer and had eventually built that into fully realized CGI characters for the first time. You saw them play around a little bit of it with Willow. There was a little bit of playing around with some premature CGI, but nothing substantial until they got to their work with Jurassic Park. Now, in Jurassic Park, there was a great mix of both CGI work, live action, and animatronics.
So there was a lot of green screen going on there?
Well, there was some green screen going on, but all this was filmed on location on the island of Kauai, in the islands of Hawaii, and a lot of this was done on site. A lot of the set work, a lot of the production was done on site. A lot of the building of these, it wasn't just CGI work. A lot of that, like those close-ups you see of the Velociraptor's snout and everything, the way its teeth are moving, that's all done with electronics and live action puppeteering.
The T-Rex, that was like a model that was built. So, most of that was not CGI, and I did watch like some of the making of Jurassic Park, and Spielberg said that the T-Rex did break down a lot because they were having to film it in the rain or fake rain or whatever. But they said that they had a lot of trouble during that whole scene where the T-Rex broke the fence and then destroyed the car.
Absolutely, yeah. I watched that as well. You're definitely right. That's what Spielberg said, that basically it would break down a lot because of the water, because they were using basic electronics and animatronics from Stan Winston. And what's interesting, going back to how much money it made, when it first came out, it broke every box office record known at that point, even breaking the great record of E.T.
Yeah. Good movie.
Very good movie. And actually, in 1994, when the award season came around, it was nominated for 3 different Academy Awards in visual effects, sound mixing, and sound editing. Big surprise.
Did it win?
And it won all 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it won all 3. And actually, a side note, John Williams didn't win for the soundtrack, but he won for the soundtrack of Schindler's List, which was released the same year.
Well, that's good because I liked him in Star Wars. But I did not like him in Minority Report.
Really? You didn't like the music in Minority Report?
I didn't go with the action.
I can understand that. I can understand that entirely. That was an interesting film, very eclectic kind of film. It definitely didn't fit with the normal. I would put it in the range of AI, artificial intelligence, when I talk about Spielberg films.
Yeah, I agree. I concur. You better be taking your shots and.
That's right. Don't forget our drinking game, listeners. So it spawned numerous merchandise.
And we can charge anything we want, $2,000 a day, $10,000 a day, and people will pay it. And then there's the merchandise.
It's spared no expense.
Patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it. Well.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And guess what? Brain has that lunchbox with the accompanying InGen thermos bottle.
I wish I had that lunchbox.
Of course you do. You can always come visit it, Rocky.
Did it come with like a thermos and everything, or was it just like a lunchbox?
No, and actually back in the day, you young kids today would not know this, but the themed merchandise lunchbox was the thing to have, man. You had G.I. Joe lunchboxes, you had Jurassic Park lunchboxes, you had X-Men lunchboxes, you had Ghostbusters lunchboxes, everything that was popular. And don't forget our favorite, Rocky, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, yes, I had a whole lot of these lunchboxes, and the one that I loved the most was Jurassic Park, and naturally the only one that really survived my childhood was Jurassic Park. And the thermos bottle, and like all of them back then, they all had thermos bottles. Today's do not have thermos bottles, and most of them are plastic, not the hard plastic base, but more of the soft plastic kind of bag, reusable bag style. And back then you had a thermos bottle that was themed with the lunchbox. And with the Jurassic Park one, it had InGen biohazardous materials written across it, like it was basically something holding the embryos, very similar to what we see with the Barbasol can that Nedry tries to use to steal for a warring company trying to get ahead in research.
You know what, Brian? Definitely take a picture of that and let's post it online.
Absolutely. We'll have to get that out for our listeners to see.
Yeah, I would love to see it too.
So there's been a lot more merchandise than just a lunchbox here. There's been comics that have been done recently by IDW that are set kind of in the U.S., like in Arizona, New Mexico area, of different dinosaur habitats that were trying to be built, definitely playing off the ideas from the second film in San Diego. There's been numerous reference books made about Jurassic Park. There were the movie storybook, which I still have, and we'll have a picture of that up online as well on our site, that covers from start to finish the story with a bunch of great illustrations, definitely geared towards all ages. And back in the day, they used to make a lot of movie storybooks for all of the movies in the early mid-'90s.
Yeah, like the pop-out storybooks where you flip the page and the dinosaur pops out and goes...
I wish you had the sound, man. That's a great idea. We should pitch that to Scholastic. Let's do a pop-up dinosaur book from Jurassic Park.
And scare the shit out of kids and give them nightmares.
Absolutely. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
They have it too easy, man. First-person shooter games where they're basically killing teams of people, so I doubt that's really going to scare them.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but most importantly, we had action figures.
Yeah.
And Rock knows this. I am a big, big collector when it comes to action figures and statues and that kind of stuff. And I have a very vast Star Wars collection. But I do have some Jurassic Park stuff still left from when I was a kid. I played a lot with that stuff. But I still have a Dilophosaurus.
Did it have the spitting action?
Dude, it didn't actually spit, but it had the spitting action in the sense where you pulled the leg together or whatever, and its mouth opened like it was spitting acid.
Like, was it, like the... what the hell do you call that? Like the wings or whatever?
Well, it did have an extra piece, plastic piece, that you could put over his neck that made it look, when he would open up and you'd see that little whatever... it would stop from being contracted, and it would... Yeah, exactly, it would open up. Actually, this would happen. But basically, the best thing about all this merchandising was it made dinosaurs cool again. You wanted to, like Rock was saying earlier, you wanted to go out and go to like a local area where you could go see the animatronic dinosaurs when they come to a zoo attraction, and it really made for a fun experience. You could go back in time, 65 million years, and for a small amount of time, we could live together, dinosaurs and humans, as opposed to what Alan Grant thought.
Dinosaurs and man, two species separated by 65 million years of evolution, have just been suddenly thrown back into the mix together. How can we possibly have the slightest idea of what to expect?
And then I was wondering if after Jurassic Park, did paleontology gain some momentum?
I think so. I think you saw a lot more... And the same thing kind of happened with Indiana Jones. You saw a lot more people getting interested in archaeology and paleontology and botany and all that kind of stuff became very interesting to people. They wanted to study more of the natural environment, the history of natural environment, and the evolution of life here. And I think that became very much a hot topic and a hot major at a lot of universities.
Well, good. Awesome.
But one thing we get to enjoy out here in beautiful Sunshine State in our Central Florida area is we have our own Jurassic Park.
You know what it's called? Dinosaur World.
Exactly. We have that right here in Tampa, and it's a beautiful preserve garden, blown-up garden area that involves a bunch of different dinosaur statues and a little bit of animatronic, and it's open year-round. It's very cool to check out. But also, we actually have an official Jurassic Park here.
And that is at Universal Studios. The
That
Jurassic
is correct.
Park ride.
Absolutely, and I'll post up some pictures from the ride. And in the very beginning, you're in a river cruise, and you're in a boat, and you're going through in the beginning, and you're passing through the big doors, and you see the gas fire shooting up on the sides and the big doors. And then as you go through, you start seeing the different dinosaurs. You see some boats capsized on the side. Something's gone wrong, and we know that the dinosaurs are starting to come to fight back, and they're basically free of their shackles and free of their as we see in the film. And then later on, we see some velociraptors inside, and always scares the bejesus out of me when we're in the dark room area heading towards the top and you see the Velociraptor pop out at you.
Yeah.
The animatronic really scares the crap out of me.
And the last part, I'm not going to tell anyone, but that's awesome.
Yeah, the last part's pretty awesome. It involves a very large dinosaur, and that's all I will say. And then you get to take a little tumble. But that ride is awesome. But there's also pterodon flyers where children can fly around like there are pterodactyls around the entire park. There's an area where you can play around and dig for fossils. And there's also the visitor center where you can actually watch the birth of a velociraptor through animatronics as they are InGen officers. As they are InGen scientists.
They that must have been new because when I went there, all they had was a ride.
Well, yeah, this has always been there since the beginning. It's just some people don't realize it's there. You have to go down to the first floor of the visitor center, and you notice that they have like an incubation area very similar to what you see in the film in the very beginning when you see them going on the ride and they're having John Hammond interact with himself on screen and hear Dino DNA, and here the good cow people at Jurassic Park are working, and basically that's the piece you get to see, and it's pretty awesome, and they're all in character. They have their little white lab coats on, just like in the film, and with their little InGen insignia on, and they're overseeing and they're flipping the eggs over with the machines and all. It's very cool.
I'm going to have to check that out next time I go over there. But after the movie came out, of course, followed by video games, Jurassic Park video games.
Oh, that's right, Rock. What kind of games came out?
They did range from different types of games. There was like a lot of Jurassic Park games, but the first thing I saw was the Jurassic Park rail shooter at the arcade. What you sat in like some kind of vehicle compartment, and you or a friend would have light guns, and you would shoot the dinosaurs on screen. And then the next game I played was Jurassic Park for the Sega Genesis, which I loved. It was a platformer. But I never really got into the NES or the Super Nintendo versions of Jurassic Park. I played the Sega Genesis version, which you could play as Dr. Grant or a Velociraptor. And then there was the Sega CD version of Jurassic Park, which was my favorite. I absolutely love that. The gameplay is a lot like Myst, point and click, and you went throughout the entire island collecting dinosaur eggs. And also there were little information signs next to each of the dino parameters.
Droppings, dino droppings.
Brain, you're being very tenacious.
I'd have to see the dinosaurs dropping.
Dino dropping? That is one big pile of shit. She's tenacious.
You have no idea.
But going back, there were information signs next to each of the dino parameters, which had full motion video of Robert Backer, which they did mention in the movie. And he is
spared no expense.
Yes, they spared no expense. He was a famous paleontologist. And the Super Nintendo games, they kind of had the gameplay like Zelda. It was like over the head where you walked around, and I tried to play it, but it wasn't my cup of tea. Other people might have loved it, but I didn't. Then you have your Jurassic Park pinball machines, pinball games. There was a PC version, and then after that, I kind of fell off the Jurassic Park gaming bandwagon.
Well, as I said in our last show, I did have the Sega Game Gear Jurassic Park game, which was very similar to the Sega CD that Rock was just talking about. But basically, you would go from section to section that would be based off of the different types of dinosaurs. You would have basically a Mario style going through and shooting different things and jumping over some puzzle-based things, and you would beat the boss of each level, which would be that major dinosaur. So it would be a Velociraptor, Triceratops. There would be a specific boss you would have to beat. But the thing is, if you died, you went all the way back to the beginning, and you had to restart the entire game. Yeah. Unfortunately, that was a problem with a lot of the early-on games where you couldn't really save where you were.
And you know why? Because the games were very short, but they were very hard. So if you died, to keep you playing, you went back to the very first. And
exactly. Yeah, but also recently in games, I just want to bring up, they did release an adventure role-playing game just recently in the last couple of years in 2011, and I did play it, and it was actually a lot of fun. They did that and a Back to the Future game the same year, and it was definitely some fun nostalgia for me playing those games. And the storylines were actually a little different than the movies, and which made them very much more fun because you get to learn some new stories and new characters.
Well, cool. Let's test your dinosaur knowledge real quick.
Oh my gosh, okay.
This is actually included in the Sega CD version of Jurassic Park. But, from all the dinosaur history books, what was considered, what were the two dinosaurs that fought the last battle, against each other?
Oh, it was always the Velociraptor and the T-Rex.
No, Triceratops and T-Rex.
You're right, because the original story was going to have that. I forgot about that, Rock.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, the original script. I love that you brought that up. Yeah, because the original script of the movie, they were going to involve different kinds of dinosaurs, and ended up, because of the popularity that the Velociraptor was getting in a lot of the focus groups, they decided to make that last battle be about the Raptor and the T-Rex. As I don't believe they were going to have the T-Rex show up inside the visitor center at the end originally.
Oh, that's cool. I never knew that.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of changes they made from movie to book, but Michael Crichton was involved in all those changes. He's actually the one that okayed a lot of them because he thought it worked better on screen. And, we see that a lot with movies. Sometimes it just works better on screen because the book's not always the best adaptation, meaning you don't always need to do it literally, because if you do it literally, sometimes it doesn't pop as much on screen.
Yeah, and then people say, well, I already read this, and yeah, so you kind of got to you have to mix it up a little bit.
Absolutely agree, Rock. And we also know that the Jurassic Park movie spawned a couple more films. There was The Lost World, which was based on Michael Crichton's sequel follow-up. And once again, this movie went way off from the books. It wasn't even the same stratosphere. The story became extremely focused on bringing Jurassic Park to San Diego, and T-Rex turning into what, Rocky? What was the T-Rex kind of like?
King Kong, dude.
King Kong or Godzilla or whatnot. It was like a monster film more than it was about Jurassic Park.
Dude, I hated The Lost World.
Me too.
The only part that I liked about it was the Stegosaurus, because he was my other favorite dinosaur back in the day. I thought they really did well with the how it swung the tail and all that stuff. And the part that made me cringe in The Lost World was when Dr. Malcolm's daughter did the little gymnastic thing and smacked the raptor off. Yeah.
And apparently with her gymnastic skills, she was able to take out a full-fledged Velociraptor.
Dude, if she would have hit a raptor, she might have would have knocked it off, but it would definitely damage some sort of
you would
joint.
think. That the thing is so large, and the claws on that thing. You really have to suspend belief for a good 20 minutes in that film during that segment.
Yeah, and in the original Jurassic Park, a raptor or a group of raptors killed a very, very experienced Australian hunter.
Muldoon, absolutely.
Yep. So, that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay.
Clever girl.
Yeah.
Which is actually the T-shirt I wore last night, or the night before last, to the film. I wore my Clever Girl shirt courtesy of my sister, and it had a picture of two velociraptors playing chess.
Have you ever seen that? It's like a joke on the internet. It has a velociraptor with makeup, and it says, "Beautiful, boldful, clever girl." Like, you know.
Oh, clever Revlon commercials. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. I'd never seen that, but that's funny.
Yeah, it's
that
funny.
Works.
Yeah.
Well, and we also had one more film, the third film, which had nothing to do with Michael Crichton, and was a brand new story, and actually, in my opinion, worked a lot better than Lost World.
Yeah.
It was actually called Jurassic Park 3, and it starred William H. Macy, and we saw the return of Dr. Alan Grant and Elliot Sadler, Sam Neill, and Laura Dern.
Yeah, and I think that Jurassic Park 3 got a lot of heat, like bad ratings, but I liked it. I thought Jurassic Park 3 should have been 2.
I absolutely agree. And what really worked is it was centered around what made it work, the dinosaurs. It wasn't about the hysteria created about bringing a dinosaur to humanity, because that wasn't the point of Jurassic Park. The point of Jurassic Park was us dealing with what we have done, what we created.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that you see that more when we go to their ecosystem, and we more when we saw what happened. You know, what of the experiments were going on. We didn't really explore that in the second film. It was just a quick flyby. You know, the third one you really see it more. They really explore the island a little bit more. It's about trying to rescue people. There's a great storyline going on in the background. Some good actors in it. We get to see some very cool dinosaurs. We finally get to see a pterodactyl. That was awesome.
Yeah. And we got to see the dinosaur that put T-Rex to shame.
Oh, dude, that thing was huge.
Yeah.
They actually have a replica of that in the Jurassic Park at Universal Studios.
Is that new? I didn't see that when I was there.
Oh, yeah. You had to look towards the side. They actually have one. It was a later edition. They have one. They have the trucks, the electric cars from Jurassic Park hidden at different parts. And they even have some gas-powered Jeeps sitting there. And they have dinosaurs kind of over top of them. You know, the face is kind of coming out of the forest there. And they have a T-Rex one, and they have the major dinosaur from Jurassic Park 3.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're very cool looking. And I do suggest, if you're a big Jurassic Park fan, it's worth coming to see. If you're ever in the Orlando area, come check out Jurassic Park. It's on the Islands of Adventure at Universal. And it's not just Jurassic Park there, but they have the Marvel Island of Adventure, and they also have Harry Potter Land,
yes.
Or the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which they're continuing to expand this summer, which will be coming soon in about a year or so. They'll be expanding that area. But it's a lot of fun, so definitely check that out. If you're a big Jurassic Park fan, there's nothing better than walking through the big gates and hearing the music blasting everywhere, because that's what it feels like when you're walking in. It really feels like you're immersed in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and I agree. And we do have some good news. If you are our 13th caller right now, you would win 2 free tickets to Universal Island of Adventure and a free tour with Spielberg himself, and possibly a leading role in the next Jurassic Park film. So please be our 13th caller, and good luck to you.
That's right, Rocky. And this too can be yours. But seriously, if you are ever in the area and you do want to check out Jurassic Park, make sure to tweet us or hit us up on Facebook, and we'll definitely help you out with giving you the latest information about the park information, and how you can get the best rates, and what to check out, and everything about that. So now that we've covered the history of Jurassic Park, kind of talked about the merchandising and the evolution of Jurassic Park up to today, let's talk about Jurassic Park 3D. Let's get more in depth on our review here. I saw it in IMAX 3D and definitely have that perspective. Rocky, you saw it in what format?
Just regular.
The Real D?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Real D 3D.
Yeah.
Okay. And from my experiences, the IMAX 3D, and having seen, I like IMAX, but I'm not a huge IMAX person because of my eyes. Sometimes my eyes can kind of get overwhelmed by the size of the picture, and I can kind of squint sometimes during a movie, and that happens to me from time to time.
Yeah.
But when I am focused in, I can tell you that Jurassic Park has never looked better.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Nothing has changed. They didn't add any extra scenes or like an alternate ending or anything. I think they did a superb job with the 3D. There were times where I could tell that there was a 2D image in front of me, that it wasn't in full 3D. But, I have no complaints about that. The only complaint that I had, one complaint, is when I didn't go see it, there was a couple behind me talking throughout the entire movie. Like, even the previews, I thought they were going to shut up when the main movie started, when Jurassic Park started. They didn't. They talked throughout the whole movie, so it was kind of hard for me to focus, like, completely immerse myself into that world. But, I've seen the movie countless number of times, so I knew what to expect. Overall, I definitely give it a total nerd on, and so I do recommend that everyone, even if you're not a Jurassic Park fan, definitely go check this out. Because
definitely before it's out of the theaters, guys, you need to go out there and watch this movie. If not, to keep proving to the movie makers that are out there that they need to bring back these classic films to the theaters, even if it's in 3D or in regular 2D versions, because not having these experiences to see these classic films in theater is just sad. I mean, and the only way we're going to continue to have the opportunity to see these types of films again on the big screen is if we go out in full force and provide a financial reason for these companies to keep doing it. Same thing with E.T. and Jaws that came out with their anniversary date film releases. You got to go out there and see these kind of movies, guys. You got to be supportive.
Yeah, very true. And also do know that Steven Spielberg, his intentions was to have Jurassic Park in 3D when it was filmed. So I think that really did set up for Jurassic Park being an actual 3D. And I do know that, we all think that, 3D is a craze right now. The movie companies just want to make some extra money from it. But, comparing Jurassic Park to Avatar, those are two completely different levels. But Jurassic Park was made to be 3D. I did see Lion King in 3D, and I wasn't really that much impressed. But I was very impressed with Jurassic Park 3D. And I do agree and concur that they did make the right choice of making it into 3D. I don't think that it was just a cash cow. They were trying to milk it a little bit more.
Absolutely, Rocky.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think you hit the nail on the head, sir. And this film, you're absolutely right. I love you brought that part up. It was supposed to be in 3D. And if you remember, the way it was filmed, even if you watch on your regular TV right now, watch your old DVD copy or your Blu-ray copy that just came out this past year, you'll see, there's depth to the scenes. All they had to do was enhance it with the 3D. They didn't have to do a lot of conversion work here. All they had to do was create that illusion of depth, but now you're actually seeing it at a whole nother dimension, and that's what really makes this movie pop even more, because it was meant to be seen in a large-scale theater. Jurassic Park is not meant for television. It is meant to be seen on the big screen.
Yeah, exactly. And there are going to be some times where you're going to tell that you're seeing, like, in 3D, the up-close image looks completely like 2D VHS quality. But, for a 20-year-old movie, it's a damn good 3D film.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's still the work they did on the effects. It still pops on screen, and you notice some of the smaller things when they switch it to the 3D conversion. You start to notice the backgrounds a little bit more because they make the forefront stand out more. So you're kind of wanting to look back and see what's deeper in the picture.
Yeah.
And what's funny is there's a scene in the beginning that I never noticed it really before until I've seen it the last few times, both on Blu-ray and in the theater on 3D, was when Hammond is first introducing himself to Alan Grant and Elliot Sadler in their trailer in Montana. What's on the refrigerator in the background? What's on the refrigerator says, "Space alien stole my face," and it's written in bold black letters on a piece of paper just sitting on the refrigerator. There's all these weird statements, like science fiction related statements, and I love it. You know, you never catch those little things that you wouldn't notice before.
And there were some parts where I kind of felt like I was part of the scene since it was in 3D. And,
absolutely. I think that opening sequence when you're seeing the raptor cage coming through the trees, just that opening segment, the depth that you see.
Yeah, I'd like in the, you know, on the original, I never noticed the raptor moving inside the cage until it was in 3D.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I love the quick close-ups of the eye. You know, it's really so much clearer now in the Blu-ray and the 4K master that we saw in the theaters this past week. You really can see inside of the cage, just depth inside the cage. I mean, and it just makes it stand out even more.
All right, so we went through, you know, the history and what we thought of Jurassic Park 3D, which it got me pumped up, and I want more Jurassic Park.
Me too, Rock.
Is there any hopes of a new film? What's the future for the
Yes,
for the franchise?
Actually, there's been a lot of news about Jurassic Park lately, and we even have a director for the fourth film. I know a fourth film has been rumored and off and on again for quite some time with the studio, and especially lately with Kathleen Kennedy jumping off of the film, the executive producer, to work on the sequel trilogy with Lucasfilm, which is now Disney. Now, her husband is going to actually be taking over for her on the executive producing role with Jurassic Park 4, Frank Marshall. You may know him from the Indiana Jones films.
Yeah, good films. Great.
Absolutely. Fantastic movies. And Frank Marshall has been working with ILM and all those folks there for quite some time. So there's definitely a history there. And he's also going to be working with the new director, who I am really excited about, Colin Trevorrow. He's been very much a big name, young director that everybody wants right now. And he was actually in the running to direct Episode 7 for some time. So this does, it doesn't sound like a too bad concession prize there for runner-up prize for Colin. He gets to do Jurassic Park 4.
Yeah. Well, I hope that that it goes towards the Jurassic Park 3 route rather than 2, because I thought 3 really progressed the storyline. And
absolutely. What we know so far about the story of what we don't know, basically, is it's gone through many revisions. If you remember, I hope we don't go down the same road as Crystal Skull, because Crystal Skull also had that same situation where the script morphed and changed over, a 15-year span almost before they finally came to a consensus on a specific script. And that seems like similar aspect has happened with Jurassic Park 4. They brought in brand new writers and director, and also I'm hoping it's going to be pretty good. The original script, which leaked out that they were thinking about going forward with just about a year and a half ago, involved like the island of Dr. Moreau, basically these dinosaur human hybrid creatures, and all the experiments that were going on Ilsa Sorna, which we see in the second and third film. Yeah. And that would have made for some really weird, monster, insane type movies, which I don't think would have went over entirely too well. I don't think that's the route they're going in anymore, thank God.
Yeah. I would like to see Timmy as maybe an intern or something, and helping Dr. Grant out, which he wanted to do as a little kid.
That's right.
Like a child, and see him grown and possibly grown into the field of paleontology, and perhaps leading the next generation of youth.
They're flocking over here.
Yeah, no, they're flocking this way. I tell you, I think he was the funniest character of the.
He was,
and he was the funniest juvenile character. But Dr. Malcolm, I loved his intellectual humor.
Chaotician.
Chaotician. I loved it. And,
I know. I just love the characters. I mean, they were all so specific and different from each other in the way they reacted to each other's different. Or, I mean, you had a John Hammond character who was very much, trying to put his imagination, trying to be a modern day Walt Disney, but couldn't put it all together and kept failing.
Yeah. And
didn't realize the power that he had in his hand. That let his imagination take control of him. And then you had Dr. Ian Malcolm, who was very much living life at the moment and understanding that life was entirely unpredictable, like his chaos theory.
Yeah.
And then you had Dr. Alan Grant, who was very much a scientist, but didn't want to deal with real life. He immersed himself in history instead of dealing with what was happening in the present.
Yeah.
I mean, there were such great characters, and that's what makes the film stand up to today. I mean, and what makes the series that much fun, because freaking dinosaurs.
Yeah, and for the first time, you really got to see a dinosaur, come to life, and actually, it wasn't stop claymation, or it wasn't.
Exactly. And what about? And thinking about the dinosaurs, was it the visual or was it the sound? The sound they made, the sound editing in that film that really blew me away.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think it had a lot to do with the sound, because, I mean, there was some part where the T-Rex, he sounded like he was a mix of a roaring lion. With maybe an elephant or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was a mixture of all kind of different wild animals. And then, very much like they did with Chewbacca, and Skywalker Sound did a great job with Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and they were terrifying. Back when I was a child, I was amazed by dinosaurs, but Jurassic Park helped me understand how dangerous they really were, and I'm glad that they're gone, and I hope that they don't come back to life.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. We survived for 65 million years without them. I think we can go another 65 if the planet doesn't get destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see a bit of, dinosaur history in our current animal species or reptile. The Dilophosaurus, there's a lizard that has that little, I guess, thing around its face, and it can run on water. Then you have the giraffe that has a long neck, and
I was gonna say, I see it in the birds.
Yeah,
that's what Dr. Grant taught me, at least.
It's true. They evolved.
It's true.
The birds. Hey, it's not that scary. It's like a giant turkey, a 6-foot turkey.
Yeah, it's not too scary when they're coming at you with a 6-inch retractable claw, son.
Yeah, but if you do kill it, it would make a good Thanksgiving dinner.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. But getting back on Jurassic Park 4, another piece I'd like to unveil to some folks is that they will be filming the fourth movie in my home state, where I came to be, where I was raised and brought to be the elder brain I am today, Louisiana. And there will be filming in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Jurassic Park 4. They actually had a fake pseudonym for the filming. And I dug through some information, talked to some folks I know in the industry down there, and found out that the fake name they were using was in place of the next Jurassic Park movie. So they're supposed to be filming that starting this summer in Baton Rouge. They have a large sound studio out there that's been built over the last couple of years, as Louisiana's been doing a lot more movies.
Are they going to focus on more of a swampy type scene more than a tropical type atmosphere?
That's interesting. The one thing that's great about Louisiana is that you can do so many different types of sets and backgrounds, and that's what makes it so appetizing to a executive producer is the value and cost of doing a film down there. Not only with the tax credits down there, but they can go and film basically any type of setting. They want to go Victorian age, Civil War age. They want to go primeval age. That they can do it because there's so many types of cultures and backgrounds down there. It's a big melting pot.
Watch out, Hollywood. Louisiana's about to go Cajun on your ass.
Well, we got some Cajun dinosaurs down there, sure. Yeah, that's. Maybe Gambit will make a special appearance.
Yeah, it could be. I was trying to think of a dinosaur name, from Marvel, but I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. All right, so Brain,
Yes, Rock.
I do have to apologize. We're going to have to cancel the Stump the Brain segment this episode. Unfortunately, I did not receive any submissions the past 2 weeks, and so listeners, do understand that this is your fault. You did not submit any questions, and the Stump the Brain from this point on is all up to you now. I'm not going to add any of mine. We did receive a few in the last show, but please do submit your questions to ModerNerdom@gmail.com, and remember that is one N, or if you would like, you can also send it on our Facebook page as well. But do send it as a message and don't broadcast it in the news feed. I will make sure that Brain does not see the question.
You can definitely broadcast to people. Put it on Twitter, Facebook. Definitely anywhere where the public can see, because that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and if you want, we can have a live chat session, a live Stump the Brain chat session.
Absolutely. We're definitely down with going on Google Plus, guys, and you can connect with us, and maybe we can do that in the future. Or we may even break out the old Blog Talk Radio from time to time to do a quick 30-minute show with you guys. But as Rocky and I have made very vocal, Blog Talk Radio is not the best for clear audio.
Yeah, as you saw in the first, and you guys should concur that Blog Talk Radio is not the best choice for us at this point in time.
Absolutely, Rock. So we hope you've enjoyed our nostalgic trip down memory lane here as we took a trip to Jurassic Park. And we hope you'll join us in 2 weeks as we cover the big summer blockbuster movie preview.
Absolutely. And forget all the going to the beach and seeing that hot chick in the bikini with the big boobs. All you need is Iron Man 3.
That's right, Iron Man 3. You can grab some Pepper Potts in an Iron Man suit and maybe catch a little Natasha Romanoff.
I totally have a nerd on right now.
Absolutely, Rocky. And we'll also be covering the other big films like Star Trek Into Darkness and Man of Steel, Superman's return to the big screen. But we'll cover that more in our next show in about 2 weeks. And make sure to connect with us on our social media. That's at Twitter on @ModerNerdom. That's Facebook.com/ModerNerdom. And our new website launching soon, ModerNerdom.com.
And don't forget, that's ModerNerdom with one N.
That's right, Rocky. That's about all the time we have today, listeners.
This is Rocky.
And I'm the Brain. And remember, listeners, share your nerdom with the world.
And to get your nerd on.
And in the words of our 16th president,
be excellent to each other. And